Welcome. You're new here. I'm also new here. I'm Chloe McKenzie, and I am the host of the podcast called The Leaderful Inc. This is my first time doing this whole video thing. You might recognize my voice from my first podcast called Start Right Now. Recently, I have made a big shift in what I want to talk about, what we want to focus on, and what I want to really start to get deep into in terms of things that I know are going to help you if you're listening to this. If you find yourself in a position right now where you want to be a better leader, you want to be a better parent, you want to find a way to really start to hit those goals that mean something to you, whether that's career, whether that's health, whether that's fitness. There are so many things that are fundamental to how we operate. There are so many habits that we pick up over the course of our lives, and this channel is going to break down and unpack all the little things that drive us to be who we are. All those habits, all those important skills, all those difficult conversations that we need to have when it comes to getting to the place we want to go and getting to be the person that we want to be. So I want to welcome you here, and I'm excited to be able to share some of the things that have made a big difference in my life, some of the things that have allowed me to be promoted in my jobs 7 times over the last 11 years, allowing me and my family to build a portfolio of investments that I know are going to set my kids up for success, and also share the stories of the challenges and the flubs along the way, the periods where I know I was a bad boss and I had so much to learn about the way that we can inspire and motivate and move people to an action, because I really think these are fundamental things that spill over into all areas of our lives. So the Leaderful Inc. Interesting name, right? Leaderful is probably not a word that you hear very often in your day-to-day vocabulary. So I want to just read out the definition of leaderful so we can be on the same page. So the dictionary definition of leaderful is referring to the property of leading all together, collectively, and at the same time, concurrently. And when I saw that definition, when I was thinking about a new name for my podcast, I knew I wanted to focus on leadership. I knew those skills and foundation were going to be really important, but I love this definition because it talked about leadership in a really nuanced way. People think the leader has to be the one at the front of the room, the one that has the answers to all of the questions. Leaderful really gives us this lens of we can lead with others collectively. We can sometimes lead from behind or from the middle. We can lead without the pressure of feeling like you're the only one steering the ship. And this becomes really important in a work team, a sports team, a family team. And the Leaderful Inc. is something that is really going to touch on those things that allow you to, again, step forward at the front of the room, but also when you're in the room, creating the environment for others to succeed and to also show up as leaders themselves. Why did I make the change? I started my first podcast, the Start Right Now podcast, that was really a symbol of where I was at in my life at that time. Like many creative people, like many ambitious people, I struggled to get off the sidelines of my dreams and really start to actualize the things that meant something to me. I had imposter syndrome. I had this resistance to creating things because of a fear of being judged and a fear of failure. And the podcast, the first one, really was my playground and project to be able to give myself permission to fail, to try a new skill, and start to really express and practice being in the habit of launching, shipping, putting something out for people to react to, being in the arena, and being a part of the conversation. And what I learned from that is tremendous. It's opened up so many new opportunities for me. It's opened up a whole new career opportunity for me. And that's why I think it's so important that some of the things we're going to focus on talking about is getting off the sidelines, getting into the arena, and stepping into the person that you feel called to be. You can't get there without action, without tough stuff, without people judging you. It's impossible to do the things that you want to do without hearing opinions from people that may not always be favorable. So switching gears then, as I stepped into this new career, it was really important for me to also be creating an opportunity to explore some topics that I really experience in my day-to-day. If you are an executive, if you are a leader in a work environment, if you're a person working in human resources, which is what I do now, you're going to get so much value on topics like, what does it mean to create a diverse, equitable, and inclusive environment? What does it mean to support people through challenges that you can see and the ones that you can't? What does it mean to have a difficult conversation about topics like wanting to be promoted, wanting to move forward in your career? Difficult conversations at home, like how do you rebalance priorities with your partners? How do you get the support that you need to start hitting those goals? Even themes of parenting. I am a mom of two, and parenting, being a gentle parent, a conscious parent, are things that are really important to me. And the things that I learn day to day out there, managing teams, leading a department, are things that I bring into my interactions with my kids. And it's so fulfilling to learn with them and learn through them as a parent. It's funny how many different things are related. We don't realize, we compartmentalize our lives sometimes into, let me think about this box as my family box, or my work box, or my buying a house, getting a mortgage, and my dream box. When we start to really unpack the layers of who we are, you start to see a commonality. I know in my own life, when I've had to try to dissect the areas that were working well and dissect the areas that were friction, I could see a pattern, that fear of judgment. I could see that pattern, that fear of failure. I could see being afraid of being vulnerable as a place that was showing up in multiple areas of my life. So when you think about how impactful it is just to get down to basics and start to correct and address and grow through those areas, it spills over into everything, and it makes life that much more fun and interesting when you feel like, even in a mundane, boring day where you didn't hit this crazy milestone, you feel the growth. You feel the fulfillment walking out of a conversation with your kid where you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't blow up at you today. I feel really good about how I showed up as a parent. Or when you can have a conversation with, maybe it's a colleague, maybe it's a friend, somebody you report to, that they're saying they're having a really hard time. They want to feel supported. They want to feel like they're set up for success. And you can be there to listen, to coach, to lean in, to be an advocate, an ally, and direct somebody to their areas that might be blind spots for them. So there's so much good, juicy, rich stuff we're going to be talking about on this channel. And I want to make sure, if you're listening to this on an audio format, you can connect with the show. If you're listening to this and watching this on YouTube, I want to see you show up in the comments and let me know what it is that you'd like to talk about. What do you want to hear about? Where is it that you are struggling in your journey to be a better leader for your family, your community, your work, your team? We want to know. And you're going to see amazing interviews with coaches, with business leaders, with leadership experts that are going to help us with the big and with the nitty-gritty small stuff that really makes a difference in the day-to-day. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And I can't wait to go on this leaderful journey with all of you.